If you're interested in combining customer loyalty and subscription revenue, Claris Commerce can help. Named a contender in the Forrester Wave Loyalty Solutions Q2 2021, Claris is the only company solely focused on premium loyalty programs for retailers, from the technology platform to the services needed for a successful program. To learn more, download Claris's premium loyalty content bundle at clariscommerce.com/total retail.
Welcome to Total Retail Talks, your podcast channel for retail knowledge.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of Total Retail Talks. I'm Joe Keenan, Editor-in-Chief of Total Retail. I am joined on today's show by Stuart Landesberg, the founder and CEO of Grove Collaborative. We're going to be talking to Stuart a little bit about Grove Collaborative and specifically its commitment to sustainability and sort of the growth that the company has been on in the last few years. So thank you for joining me, Stuart.
Joe, it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
So to get us started, would you mind telling our audience, for those that might not be familiar with Grove Collaborative, a little bit about the company?
Sure. Grove's vision is to make consumer products a positive force for human and environmental health. To take our categories, and we focus on home and personal care products. So think about everything from dish soap, laundry detergent, paper towels, shampoo, etc. Take all those categories that for so long have been characterized by harmful chemicals, single-use plastic, and turn them into forces for good. Not just less bad, but actually more good by using plant-based formulations that really work and packaging that is recyclable, so far more recyclable than plastic, and ideally reducing wasteful plastic packaging entirely.
Yeah.
So we look out at this category and really try to create and curate products that we think can take a category that's had a massive negative impact over time and turn it into one that can be a positive force for human and environmental health.
So how about your personal background? Do you come from a CPG background, retail? Tell us a little bit about kind of your professional background and what inspired you to launch Grove Collaborative.
So I would say my personal background is as both a hippie and a aggressive capitalist.
Okay.
Grew up in it's a great combination, I have to say.
Yeah, that's great.
Quite enjoy it. I grew up in Westchester County, New York, northern Westchester County, and my folks were, I think, a little bit ahead of their time when it came to sustainability. I probably was 15 before I realized that paper towels came in any color other than brown, and you vividly remember turning the compost pile in the backyard once a week and sort of assumed everybody did that. But started my career in finance, ended up at an investment firm called TPG. And at TPG, really got to spend time in the grocery channel and came away with a shocking insight that although 70% of the US prefers conscientious product, natural brands have teeny tiny market share, under 5% market share in many of the biggest categories. And that's really because of what's on the shelf at all of the places where, people have done their shopping for the last 100 years. And so I started Grove really as an effort to use the internet and use e-commerce to bring people brands that resonated better with their value systems than the brands that our parents used before they knew any better. And over the last 9 years as I've been running the company, we've really transitioned from just a place where every choice is a good choice and where you can discover the best natural brands to a company that believes we have an important role to play in shaping what CPG looks like overall, and an innovation engine for products and brands that can be zero waste, zero plastic, and redefine big categories in ways that are both better for the consumer, more sustainable, and ideally that make natural products more affordable and more approachable so we can improve access.
So you could hear it in your voice, and and we talked about this, the commitment that you have to sustainable products and to a sustainable lifestyle for your customers. Talk a little bit about why sustainability is a core value for Grove Collaborative, and really how that is exemplified across the organization, from your products to your processes and the way you engage with your customers.
So I think that sustainability, well, let me say it differently. Companies are all about people. Any success we've had at Grove has been because of the team. And all of the decisions that get made across the organization every day are really just driven by what kind of people we have. And because we've been very clear about our mission and our values from the beginning, we've attracted an extraordinary team of people who believe in the mission. And so every small decision to every big decision gets made through a very clear lens where sustainability is a key stakeholder, and where the environment, is not something that the impact of our products on the environment is not something we want to pass on to consumers or to the next generation, but we really want to consider. And so this is a mission that is, I think, more urgent now than ever when you look at the climate crisis, the amount of plastic that you see in our oceans, the depletion of forests across the world. I mean, I think this is like a moment where we all have to find a way to be a part of the solution. And the way we cement that into our decision-making at Grove is by having a group of incredibly talented individuals who are excited to make it their life's work as well, to use our category in our business to leave the world better than we found it.
Yeah, and I think you make a great point, Stuart. And I didn't address this specifically in my question, but you were wise to bring it up. And I asked about your customers, but you first started with the employees of Grove Collaborative in terms of their investment in the mission behind the brand, the investment in the the category itself. And I would imagine that engenders some loyalty among your employees. And two, do you see that in your customers that they're highly invested in the mission of the company and in the idea of sustainability, and then that makes them in turn loyal to Grove Collaborative?
Oh, that's a little bit of a leading question, isn't it? I mean, the answer to that is yes. But I will say, I think that Grove tries to meet people wherever they are across the spectrum. We are not judgmental we offer zero plastic items, and we also sell some items where the plant-based ingredient that comes encased in plastic, and hopefully that's recycled plastic, and we are 100% plastic neutral. So if you get a dish soap from us, from a partner like Seventh Generation who uses recycled plastic, we will also pay for the collection of an exactly equal amount of plastic that is usually sort of an ocean-bound river or low-value plastic, so that we know that we're entirely plastic neutral today on our way to being plastic free. But I think the overarching point of people who are paying attention understand they need to do something. And Grove really wants to be a place where wherever you are on that journey, from, hey, this is the first sustainability oriented thing I've ever done in my life, to, I'm already composting, eating a plant-based diet, and driving an electric car. What I need to do next is focus on my home. Either one of those constituencies should feel really welcome and celebrated at Grove.
Yeah, that's great. So wanted to talk about, and I alluded to this previously, that Grove Collaborative has experienced some rapid growth, particularly within the last 12 months or so. So first part of that question is, to what are you attributing that growth? What do you think that is kind of spurring that the trajectory that you've been on in terms of growth?
I think we've had a number of years of strong growth, and I think that really speaks to where the consumer is headed. I think we are lucky to have cared about sustainability before it was cool. And as consumers are paying more and more attention to the impact of the products that we use in our lives, paying more attention to what's in their trash can and what's in their recycle bin, and if what's in their recycle bin is actually being recycled. I think that we are lucky to just have been in this space, really working and innovating on creating high quality, affordable, attractive, and super efficacious natural products that people feel good about. And so I think our success is reflective of the broader consumer awakening to natural products.
And then kind of a second part to that, how have you seen with the COVID-19 pandemic over the last 12 or so months, how have you seen that impact the Grove Collaborative's business? And, what have you had to potentially do to evolve to, make any changes as a result of what we've been experiencing?
So there have been a couple of different phases of the pandemic, but I think the thing that I'm most proud of is how we took care of our people, both being one of the first companies to invest in some of the technology in our fulfillment centers to keep our associates as safe as possible, having medical staff on site testing on-site, UV, disinfectant, you name it. And I'm really proud of the work that our teams did to keep our people safe, especially the folks who came to work every day so that millions of people across the country could get essentials like hand sanitizer delivered to them over the last year. So I have a ton of gratitude to those teams. I think in the way that we've gone to market to the consumer is that we've really doubled down on what's most important to us, which is the Grove community, and also a core belief that natural products are not a sacrifice. And I certainly read in the news that everybody was changing back to, bleach wipes and all of the things that kill germs deader than dead. And we didn't see that in our business. We saw strength across many, many categories. And that gave us conviction that while yes, people were probably buying more disinfecting wipes than usual, that people were continuing to invest in the products that they use on their bodies and in their homes, and that the trend towards natural was continuing. So, we've really tried to double down there by prioritizing our community and also by launching new lines of product that meet the increasingly progressive consumers' demands around sustainability and efficacy.
Do you foresee any long-term behavioral shifts coming out of out of the pandemic and what the behaviors of not only your customers, but across the category as well?
It's a great question. I think that the number one consumer behavior in our categories that will stick is, I think, twofold. Number one, I think people pay attention now to a lot of product categories they didn't before, right? Cleaning took a much more central role in folks' psyches over the last 6 months than it ever has in the past. And I think the other one is that given some of the supply constraints that we've all dealt with in the last year, consumers have been forced to change brands more than they often would. And so I'm hopeful that there is an increasing willingness of consumers to try new brands. Because I think whether it's Grove or someone else, I always like to see consumers being willing to act on their value system and find the best product in the market.
And then my final question, Stuart, is we've talked about kind of the growth that you've had and what's fueled that. It's simple. My next question would be, what's next for you and the team at Grove Collaborative? Kind of where's your attention focused for the remainder of 2021?
So Grove is a business that is always in transition, right? We never want to look the same sort of, flash forward 2 years. And right now we are really focused on driving our goal of plastic free. The business is plastic neutral today, one of the only companies in the world, but we think we can be the only plastic free company in our space by 2025. And so there's a lot of work around the hundreds of Grove SKUs to figure out how we can find business models, packaging innovations, like new ways to approach categories that will move them from being wasteful to being categories that can be a force for good. And plastic is top of the list. So I think over the coming year, you'll see a number of exciting product launches for Grove that are in the zero plastic sphere. You'll see new products rolling out from lines that are already plastic free. Our Peach Not Plastic line, which is a line of plastic free shampoo bars, face wash bars, body wash bars that are exceptional and well received. I think you can expect to see that line expand. And in the core Grove Co line, which is one of the largest natural products brands in the country, I think you'll see us continue to push the boundaries there of what categories can you really both nail efficacy and nail sustainability and also get price right for the consumer. So I think you'll see a lot of innovation on the product side in the coming months. And of course, we're always working to bring great new team members into Grove. There's a ton of awesome open positions. If you're listening to this podcast and in the market, grove.co/careers is where you can find them. And of course, also trying to expand our mission and our message to more consumers.
Yeah.
So we are doing our best to continue to spread the word, because Grove is still a tiny player in a very big market. But I'm an optimist, and I believe that more and more people are going to want to be a part of the change. And so I am optimistic that both Grove and the sustainability trends that support it will see really nice growth in the coming years.
Yeah, that was going to be my follow-up as we were talking. It's the kind of that marketing piece too. You talked a lot about product development and then talent, and then touched on a little bit about kind of growing the reach of the brand, and obviously a very competitive and crowded category. So is there particular things that you're planning in terms of marketing, or is there just ways that you're trying to reach new audiences?
Yeah, I think the biggest innovation for us has been to move from, we've really relied on word of mouth and programmatic marketing. And as we get bigger, we're able to leverage more of the traditional marketing channels. And so, we're running TV for the first time, which is very exciting for us. And, as exciting as running a Grove ad on TV, it's perhaps even more exciting for me because the ads are all promoting zero plastic. Right. And so we're both advertising for Grove and advertising for our mission at the same time, which, one of the things that makes it extra fun to work at a company where you feel so passionately about the reason for being. So,
Right.
I think we'll do a little bit more TV, and then I am hopeful that over the coming year, we will continue to see, our community continue to sort of tell their friends in the way that they've always been good to us there.
Yeah. I appreciate that, and some exciting things coming up for Grove Collaborative. I want to take the opportunity to thank Stuart Landesberg, again, the founder and CEO of Grove Collaborative, for joining us today on Total Retail Talks and telling us a little bit about its company's mission, and specifically to kind of be the leader in the CPG industry, to be kind of a force for good, and through its products and people. So thank you for joining me today, Stuart.
Thanks again, Joe. Appreciate you having me. And super fun conversation.
Thanks for listening. For more information on this podcast, please check out our podcast channel page at mytotalretail.com/podcast for show notes. Total Retail Talks is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher. Make sure to subscribe on this podcast channel page as well. If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a few moments to rate and review this podcast. Thanks, and until next time, this has been Total Retail Talks.
Claris Commerce can build, manage, and optimize a premium loyalty program for your brand that combines customer loyalty and subscription revenue. To learn more, download Claris's premium loyalty content bundle at clariscommerce.com/totalretail.